Right.
So basically, I wanted to thank you very much for being here, okay? And for giving students being here. At the same time, you know, I was in Madrid last weekend. I met many of you. And as you know, Luis, there are many students who want to apply to MIT. Can be both the program in finance or the MBA program, okay? Kevin, you remember Luis? Yeah, you remember? He was your student
Yes.
1 year ago, even 16 months ago. Alors,
16 months
basically,
ago.
Luis, congratulations first, because we didn't have the opportunity to talk much lately. So what are your plans for the next 3 months?
Thank you. So I actually just quit my job actually yesterday. That was my last day. So so basically I have 2 months to get a bit in the mood and up to date and prepare for the life in Boston. Also getting married in between, so no time to rest.
When did you get married? When?
No, I'm getting married in 2 weeks.
Okay, in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and of course, it's important because also that you go with your wife in America. Yes,
that's right. So we're going together. Just gonna look for jobs over there, but that's the plan to settle down over there in Cambridge. And yeah, that's a bit the summary of what I'm up to right now.
They're busy, your students, huh? You see, Kevin. Okay. So Kevin, what type of student was Luis? Me, I remember, very intelligent guy, very bright guy. So what type of student was he in class?
Oh, it was a while ago. He took the GMAT course seriously. I remember that. Sometimes I get students who start kind of slowly and then come back after a few months, but he was right on the ball from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Now, I don't remember, Luis, whether you had to do the exam more than once.
I took it 2 times. The thing is, I think what you said is right. So you have to take, so momentum is key, right? And if you start slow and then start lagging and takes you 3 months to really start getting in shape and so on, it's going to be tough. And for me, I think I was working on it for something like 8 months because it was quite a heavy moment at work with a couple of deals at my company and so on. So I had to hop off and on. So that was complex. So I think for your students, if you have the opportunity to sit down and just focus for 2 months, really take the opportunity for that momentum, because then that's a bit hard to take back.
Yes, it's exactly, it's very true. Alors, basically, Luis, can you tell us more about yourself? Because even me, I remember you well, I know your background, etc. But Kevin forgot, and the others, they don't know much about you. So who are you? But you can spend 5 minutes, and because people, they want to understand the type of background that is required to get MIT.
Sure. So I have a finance background. I studied in Madrid at ICADE, but went overseas to New Orleans, Tulane University for 1 year and 1 semester to Beijing. So a lot of, let's say, international background. Also, I lived in Brussels when I was little for 4 years. I'm in the UK. Came back to Spain after my, let's say, Erasmus or international experience, and started at Ernst & Young, their, let's say, excellence and transaction program, where we were rotating across different corporate teams. And after 2.5 years, I moved to what at that moment was a bit of a risky move, but turned out quite good, which was Allfunds, the corporate development team at this large corporate that was spun out of Santander and bought by a couple of private equities. So not that intuitive move, but then I got a huge responsibility from day one working hand by hand with the private equities and my boss, and really turning the company upside down. Took a couple of CFAs, so I think I have the finance background check. That's why when I was thinking about MBAs, I knew I was more into it for the experience, for the story, and for the people I could meet and the opportunities, than for the pure, let's say, business/finance knowledge, which I had it covered. And that's a bit why MIT was from the beginning at the top of my list. And also the story, this is a bit the story that I was telling MIT to convince them to get me in the ranks. So that's a bit what they love, right? Even if you don't have such a let's say normal background, or like a BCG, McKinsey, or investment banking background, you can tell the story where you show them the responsibility, the amount of work you get done, and how you like to get involved in things, and purely the changing things. That's a bit what they love.
Yes, of course.
That's a bit where.
So we come back to that, and so basically, so at least you're honest, Luis. You don't tell us that you tell us the reality for which you're going to study at MIT. So basically, what you want personal development there. You want you want basically the network. You want the experience as well in the US. Your plan is to stay in the US after the MBA?
I'd love to. Yeah, that's one of my plans. So with MIT, you get the STEM designation, which you can stay over there for 2 extra years after the MBA. Then those are my plans. Yes, really. Well, I still don't know what I'm looking for at exit, but I think another component from MIT which really got me hooked was the technological component, obviously, and the fact that you can get yourself involved with all these people from much more different backgrounds than the usual business schools. That was key for me.
Okay, it's a good thing. So tell me, you have applied to other programs, but why have you chosen MIT itself? Because from what you mentioned, I don't know. Okay, I understand the STEM component is something important, but maybe can you explain, Luis, what is STEM exactly? Because maybe our guests here, they don't really understand. Because, for instance, they have to know that I don't know, Duke is, by the way, but Columbia, Harvard, Wharton are not STEM. So what it is STEM, please? Can you explain what it is?
So STEM is basically the programs that has science, technology, and medicine components, such as MIT because of their undergraduate programs and so on. So the US government is trying to promote this type of programs, and basically having international students who are in these areas of knowledge to stay later on at the US and develop their career and basically retain talent, right? So this type of programs, they incentivize them by giving you a 2-year visa, well, the same time that you have studied visa to work, without having the need of an external company sponsoring you. So you basically ease up the process for US companies to hire you. You obviously have to get hired afterwards, but it's way more easy than knocking at their door and telling them that they have to pay an 8,000 bill for your visa or whatever, right? So it's a bit of incentivization for people who wants to develop their career or early years in their career after MBA at the US.
Okay. If I can come in here, just out of curiosity, so if in that 2-year period you get a job, when the 2 years are up, is it really easy to have it renewed, or?
So STEM, I think, is 2 years.
It's 3 years. Luis, it's 3 years. STEM is 3 years. STEM.
It's 2 + 1, right? You
yeah,
can
it's
have
3 years. It's 3 years because you have the graduate plus the 2 from.
Yeah.
So it makes 3 years. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, but what I want to say, Kevin, is that the problem of the company, you see, normally when you graduate from a program in the US, you have a 1-year visa. The graduate visa is 1 year. Okay. At my time, it was like that, 1-year visa. So if the company wants to take you, they say, okay, we're going to hire him, we're going to train him, and in 6 months, you will be already thinking of what's going to be next. So they don't really want. They will never give a very good position to someone who is here just for 1 year, and anyway, who is in 6 months will already try to find a way to stay in America. Okay, so they don't want that. But if they know that you're going to stay there for 3 years, they know that they can test you for 3 years, and after the 3 years, it's easier to get a visa, and they have tested you for 3 years. Okay, so the risk is very limited. You pay back from such graduates after 3 years, and they're in an easier situation to ask for another type of visa. You see? Alors,
very good.
Basically, are you in contact already with? I'm sure that you're in contact with MIT. So, what have been your contact with MIT? Have you been there for a weekend? Sometimes they organize an integration week. They also give you the contact of other MIT alumni. By the way, we have another one probably, Kevin, with what is his name? Who got the deferred MBA with no, because he's a deferred MBA, so he will not be with you. His name is Aquilino, but he will not start now. He will start in 2 to 3 years because it's a deferred MBA. So he's an ICADE student.
Okay.
You know that we got 2 this year, Kevin.
That's right.
One deferred MBA and one with Luis. So basically, what have been your contacts so far with MIT, Luis?
So I haven't had the chance to visit campus yet. I would have loved it, but I mean, I just couldn't with wrapping everything at work. But I know they've done a couple of long weekends to work on new classes over there. They've also done the MIT Finance Conference they did in February, which new attendants could join. I joined remotely, and that was a 3-day conference with really senior people and super interesting people from the industry, fintech and finance, so on. And then I've been regularly in touch with them, mostly for visa topics. But yeah, they've been just super helpful, and they immediately get you into a couple of Zooms, into Slack teams where you can interact with the rest of what's going to be your class. I mean, they are already discussing trips from going to Qatar for the World Cup in December to, I don't know, first week of August, the orientation week and so on. So we are already in those type of groups, and me personally, I got in contact with the rest of the Spaniards that we are here to have a couple of beers before departing. That's been a bit of my contact with MIT so far.
All right.
Okay. So
Sorry, Dr. Hubert, it was really good seeing you. I've got to leave now. Any questions for me before I leave?
So basically, yes. How many students? What is the proportion of your students, Kevin, who are asking for top US MBA according to you at the GMAT class?
Top US MBA, I would say, would be maybe 30%.
Okay, it's true that we have many applying. Okay, so it's a good thing. So now, Luis. So tell me. So tell me, Luis. So what are your post MBA career goals now after this MBA at MIT? What are you aiming short term, mid term, long term?
So one thing that I had clear, and I think that's it's going to be my most immediate goal, is that I wanted to do MIT because I wanted to be more in the entrepreneurial environment, which I was not. I mean, I had quite a corporate career so far, and I wanted to experience that for a couple of years. So that's something that could be my goals. Let's see where those entrepreneurial avenues get me. But another possibility is also I wanted to move closer to VC more concretely. So I've had tons of experience looking at small fintechs through my corporate development and M&A position at Allfunds. And I think I know a bit the environment, especially in Europe. And I want to take that knowledge combined with MIT to join any VC in that arena in the US. That would be incredible. But also, like, what I want to do the most is have the opportunity to be in the entrepreneurial environment for these next 2 years with MIT.
Yes, of course, that's probably something important. Have you already identified classes, professors that you like to follow, professors that you like to meet? Have you already? Yeah,
I've had, but to be honest with you, that's one of my to-dos now that I've quit my job here, is to really research and dig through in all the syllabus. Yeah. I mean, throughout this past maybe 6 to 8 months since I started considering applying to MIT, but just the syllabus. I mean, and this is one of the things I was most surprised by. Just the syllabus is enormous. I mean, you can get into any class from the undergraduate, from whatever type, even just if it doesn't relate to your area of expertise, but you just want to do it for general knowledge. You can hop on to, I don't know, nuclear fission from engineering, you know, whatever class you want. And you also have at MIT, which is quite great, they have a coordination program with Harvard. And so you can join Harvard classes as part of your syllabus. So just the possibilities are enormous, and I really need to get to know every class and every professor.
Yes, that's something that, yes, it's true. There are, you can follow classes at Harvard, and of course the corpus is very big. I think I'm going to ask some students if they have some questions to ask you before I ask you about the admission process. Philippe, so Philippe is from Poland, okay, and so he's a student from MBA Center Europe. Philippe, you have questions for Luis, because you want to apply to MIT, by the way.
Yes,
one of the things you wish to. Yeah. So tell me, Philippe, what question have you got for Luis?
I don't have anything ready, to be honest. But generally speaking, is there anything that I think is unmissable there on MIT? Something that you would recommend basically to anyone, regardless of what they like?
Basically, if I can rephrase your question, Philippe, remember when we had the initial meeting this week, you told me that you want to go to MIT for entrepreneurship, okay? And it seems that Luis wants to go there also for entrepreneurship. So basically, from what you know from the school, Luis, what makes MIT the right place for a future entrepreneur?
Well, I know you have over there the entrepreneurship lab. You have the entrepreneurship track. So you have a series of tools within the school, and they are not purely subjects where you just get the theory, right? It's literally so the motto of MIT Mindset Management is, I mean, learn by doing, right? So you literally can get there and get your hands dirty and without being a proper class, right? So that's I mean, obviously, I'm saying this from the outside, right? I haven't tested yet, but those were kind of the concepts that got me hooked with MIT. Also, I don't know, speakers, this MIT FinTech conference, the 3-day conference that I was talking about. I could join and see that students were presenting also their startups or projects they had developed at MIT to the rest of the audience. And I mean, it was just astonishing what they could do in just 6 months. There are also a couple of, let's say, contests where I think it was the startup, the winning startup would get financed with $100,000 US. So there are different tools that are not that obvious, but are just, I mean, they just make the entrepreneurship side of MIT flourish, and they're incredible. Without talking about obviously the professors, right, which are also incredible. So I think that's the main selling point of MIT. And you don't need to build your startup or whatever to get admitted, right? You just, I mean, what they want to see is that you are not a theorist, right? That you like to get involved. The problems that you have solved throughout your career. I mean, don't worry if they are too big or too small. Don't talk about how big they are. Just how you solved them, how you thought about them, how you did it by yourself, and that's a bit the type of profile they're looking for. Doers.
I got it. I missed the beginning, so I probably was like.
Yeah, but it will be recorded. Ronnie had a question about the STEM program. Okay, now Ronnie, you have to see that all the programs from the MIT Sloan are STEM. So the MBA, the Master in Business Analytics, and the Master in Finance. Okay, so because the designation is for all the master programs from MIT Sloan. Okay. Ronnie, by the way, you want to study in the US. Ronnie is from Italy. He's a student from Italy. Ronnie, you have a question to ask beyond STEM programs?
Yeah, sorry, I'm outside, so I don't know if you can hear me correctly.
Yeah, we can hear you very well. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. No, so my question was, since I've heard that most of the subjects have a certain STEM perspective, that's what I understood. I wanted to understand how this part is applied to the various subjects, because I really don't have a STEM background. So I wanted to understand if it's actually the right program for me to apply to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, you may know it better, Hubert, but it's not about the subject. So MIT has the STEM recognition on MBA. Yeah. So it's obviously quite modular, and there are different subjects, but it doesn't matter what type of syllabus you build for yourself at your time at MIT, you'll get the STEM recognition.
You understand? So I have a student, for instance, who is an engineer, who is finishing his studies. He studied only consulting only on strategy. He has a STEM background because he's an engineer in nuclear physics, but he wanted to study business on that aspect. And then he has decided to go for the STEM, but he has studied strategy, business and finance only, okay? So of course, it makes sense when you study at MIT to get some, to develop your background in science and technology, okay? But if you don't want to do so, you will not do so, okay? By the way,
okay, so it's not something that's compulsory, but it's something that's, okay, perfect.
The way I have one from Belgium, Luis, his name is Pascal Ruvet, okay? And you see, he's a very interesting guy because he's a surgeon, which is very, very interesting background. So tell me, what was the application like? What did you find most difficult in the application, Luis? Okay, of course, you got a good school, so it was a difficult process. So what did you find most difficult?
So I think the MIT admission process to me was the least obvious, because everything they ask you for is quite open. So for instance, I don't know, at Columbia they ask you for an essay about that time that you strive change at your organization, or so they are quite particular on what they're asking you for. At MIT, they ask you at phase one for an your cover letter, telling you them who you are and why you want to be at MIT. So basically telling your story or the way you want to approach it. Then they ask you for an org chart of your company and where you stand at your company to see a bit of the your level of responsibility. That's quite straightforward. And then a video of yourself just introducing yourself to the classroom. And it has to be informal, so you can be, I don't know, if you love football, it can be at a soccer field, whatever, right? So you don't really have the feeling or what they are after, right? So it's quite open. So take that opportunity to not be structured. So don't get nervous about that, and just be yourself. Tell your stories, but be yourself. For me, for instance, just to tell you a concrete example, my video was climbing a mountain that I have climbed thousands of times where I go on vacations. It's a small one. Don't worry, it's not the Everest. But it was just outdoors hiking and telling a bit of myself while I was hiking. So it's quite informal. But you have to make sure that you give the messages to them. And then phase 2, there was a more concrete essay on a time at your organization where you were welcoming with an initiative or whatever. And then something more analytical. That's why as MIT, you had to do an essay on an analysis you've done at your company or by yourself, I don't know, look into stocks or whatever, that you want to just to tell them about. And if you haven't done any analysis that you're proud of, or you just can't remember any, they want you to present an analysis from whatever source or publication and tell them why it resonates with you. So they want to see that you are also comfortable with data and you find a bit the story behind the data, but that's a bit of on a later stage.
Yeah, basically what you have to see, Ronnie, but it's different for you for the masters. They ask you for a cover letter, and then once you have been shortlisted, you have to write the application. It's a way for them probably to read fewer applications, fewer essays, to say, okay, anyway, 75% of the people are not worth it, so let's focus on the 25% that are worth it. That's probably one of the reasons.
Okay, so it's like a sort of like you start with a cover letter, and
yeah,
then
but you will not apply for an MBA. You will apply for the Master in Finance, and the Master in Finance is completely different. Okay. Basically, so I know, Luis, that you don't have much time. Basically, there was some student from there's Perico who is going to apply to MIT as well, but for the Master in Finance, Perico, you have a question for us, Perico? Perico?
No, all was clear, but I got some few questions about admission, but it's different because I will want to apply.
Yeah, it's for the Master in Finance. So we'll have a student, Simon, who has been accepted to MIT, Master in Finance, and he will tell you. And this year we got 8, you see, Luis, accepted to the Master in Finance from MBA Center.
Okay.
And by the way, 2 were from Spain. By the way, so what else? So I know that you have to go now. Maybe there's Andres Cono Hero. I don't know Andres. Andres, you have a question for us? Andres?
Hi, Hubert. Sorry, it's quite busy around me, so I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So because of my personal situation also, I'm kind of interested in how you're going to manage to bring your wife with you once she's your wife. With you, if she's found a job, or you guys or she's going to work remotely, how are you going to figure out your life once you're married? We are a married couple also trying to get into MBA, probably MIT. So we're also interested in this kind of personal factor to the whole moving to the USA, etc. Thank you, Hubert.
Yeah. To me that was one of the things that worried me most, because she had to quit her job here. So what we are, and she works at a hotel chain actually from the US. So currently what she's trying to do is she's trying to get the hotel company to headquarter. It's actually headquartered in Washington, but she's trying to get them to send her to Boston. It's not that obvious, not so easy, and what is really helping is that I'm going with a G1 visa, because, well, I said earlier that I quit my job is not really true. I'm getting sponsored by my job, and I'm taking 2-year leave, and I'll see what I do later on. And so if you are getting a sponsor by a company, or it can be, I don't know, just an independent institution or whatever, you apply to a J1, and with a J1, your wife, in this case, can work over there. If not, if you're going with an F1, the only thing she can do over there is the same level of studies that you are undertaking, or she can get hired over there and have her company sponsor her while she's there. So the easiest part is to do. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I think the easiest part is if you go with a J1 visa, then it's a bit less of a headache, because she can go over there and find a job there on the ground day one. She shouldn't have any problem.
Yeah. So what you have to see as well, Andres, is that if you also get a scholarship from MIT, it changes your visa. Did you get a scholarship, you, Luis? Did you get a scholarship?
No. I'm waiting for one, but no so far.
Yeah, because if they give you a scholarship, it changes also the visa. You see, Andres. Okay, you get a J1 as well with a scholarship. You see?
Okay.
Because it's sometimes
J1
so
and
that's
J2
why
for
get a good GMAT, get a good application, and try to get a scholarship. Okay. At the same time, what I've noticed, I don't know if you have used that, Luis, but there are a lot of foundations in Spain that give scholarship.
Yeah, no, that's. I'm waiting for one of those. I'm waiting for one of those foundations. What I would tell you, Andres, is don't worry about this yet. I mean, just research a bit and know that there are alternatives. Focus on the rest, right? The GMAT, the admissions, and so on. It's a long process, and one moment in time you'll get into this kind of work stream. And so there's a moment in time for each part, but don't stress with this. I was in the same situation, trying to think about the visas and the scholarship before even having my GMAT. It just takes a moment in time to do it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Luis. Thank you, Hubert.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, if you have been accepted somewhere, they will somehow support you. No? Yeah, they will somehow support you. Something will happen. Okay. But it was nice to talk to you, Luis. So I hope that we stay in contact and keep me updated to tell me what's going on. Okay. Especially, it's important that we know where you find an internship. That at the end you tell me where you have been accepted. It's always data that are important for us. Okay.
Great.
And I wanted to thank you very much for being with us. It was a pleasure working with you. You were not a difficult student to handle, and I'm sure that Kevin is feeling the same. Thank you very much, Luis.
Thank you very much, Hubert. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.